Coming up on Nittany Game Week.
Our guys just, they look to score points, and so they score points. It's really that simple.
The wrestling team certainly makes it look easy. The Dynasty rolls on with their 5th straight national title. What means more to the guys than bringing home another championship?
Every time you go out to practice or every time you go to a meeting, these are teaching opportunities.
Coach Campbell and his staff are in full teacher mode as spring practice begins. Why there are a bunch of one-on-one competitions taking place during the team sessions.
I don't care what the stat sheet says. I don't care who's on your team. If we're willing to outcompete you, then that's what we're going to do.
And the Nittany Lions pushed the defending national champs to overtime in the Frozen Four semifinals. How a narrow defeat can continue the program's ascent in women's hockey. This is Nittany Game Week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski alongside Ryan Yee. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Penn State's wrestling team notches their 14th national title and 5th consecutive championship.
Yeah, setting another record in the process. We have their dominance on the mats. A first look at the football team for spring practice and a brand new direction for the women's basketball team.
Lauren Bradford starts our opening drive from Cleveland, where the blue and white capture an awful lot of gold.
The NCAA Team Wrestling Championship is coming home to State College once again.
We train hard and do the right things, do the best of our ability, and things will work out.
Penn State fans didn't even have to wait until the final session to watch the Nittany Lions capture their 5th straight team championship.
Based on points alone, PSU locks up the title before the finalists take the mat. The Nittany Lions add to their total to break their own NCAA points record for the 3rd straight season.
Our guys just, they look to score points, and so they score points. It's really that simple.
With the team title out of the way, it's time for individual glory. Shane Van Ness's perfect season comes to an end with a 2nd place finish at 149. Penn State's first individual champ, to no surprise, comes at 165 as Mitchell Messenbrink picks up the 20-4 tech fall, clinching his 2nd national championship.
This year I really just wanted to enjoy it, and I did not come to do my will, but to do the will of the one who sent me.
The Nittany Lions 1-2 punch delivers as Levi Haynes secures the 2-1 decision to win at 174.
It happened the way it was supposed to, and maybe fans don't find that super appealing or whatnot, but if you've been around wrestling, you kind of understand that high IQ chess match out there with styles and game plans and stuff. So you can appreciate that match if you've been around the sport long enough.
Rocco Welsh comes up just short at 184 before Josh Barr turns last year's silver into gold.
I remember being in the tunnel last year and being so grateful that I got to compete. I remember that moment, and I got a lot of gratitude right before I walked out there, and just really thankful and grateful to be here, grateful that the Lord's blessed me with the talents that he has, and it's only right that I give back to him because all this is his and all this is going to come and go, but Jesus Christ doesn't.
Last to take the mat is Luke Lillidahl at 125, who wins his first title with a 2-1 decision.
This year for me was obviously wanted to win the Nationals, but I wanted to put a stamp on, that 125 is my weight class for the next 2 years, and I feel like I've done that.
While the success speaks for itself, the real takeaway from the weekend is the realization that maybe the key to becoming a champion is understanding that a championship isn't everything.
Sometimes it takes obtaining the goal to realize that the goal is not the thing to be obtained. When I look back on these times with these past, this past year, I know it won't be anything about bonus points or winning. It'll be about sitting in my hotel room with my dad and my mom and my siblings.
I'm not motivated to be an NCAA champion. I'm really not. I'm motivated to serve Jesus, to be the best I can be every day in all that I do. It's not about the finish. It's not about first, second, third, whatever. It's about just being the best I can be.
Their best results in 4 unbeaten NCAA individual champions on the way to clinching Penn State's 5th straight title and 13th in the last 15 championships. Lauren Bradford for Nittany Game Week.
Thanks, Lauren. It's one of the sure signs that spring is finally here. The Nittany Lions back on the practice field. We get our first look at Coach Campbell and his staff working with the team that will usher in a new era of Penn State football. Spring has sprung. Penn State football is back on the field.
Go! There you go. Back it out!
A new leader in head coach Matt Campbell. A new era that comes with change.
I think every year, even in a spring practice setting, every year it's going to look a little different just based on where you're at. So I don't think it's so foreign to me in terms of starting back over. But I do think, aligning everybody, making sure we're slowing right now is really the process for us.
Most notably, morning practices are on the docket.
I love the morning practices, honestly. Wake up and you get straight to it. I think it's very similar to like an 11 a.m. kickoff. Kind of gets you ready, get you going, and get your mind triggering fast.
It's an area for me that I've really become convicted on, that it is absolutely the best thing for student athletes. It gives our young men a start to their day, which is huge, and it starts with breakfast. It starts with the opportunity to be in a engaging environment, and I think what we got with it is academically you saw everything skyrocket.
A start to the day that brings it back to the basics.
Just be 100% confident in the playbook. Just being able to communicate without even thinking, second nature. I think getting that all set in stone and being confident with each other and kind of have it like second nature, I think that would be great.
Yeah, he hones in on the technique, and especially for spring ball, that's kind of what the emphasis is getting down your technique, getting down the little things, and mastering the small things.
While bringing together a new look Penn State squad.
His energy is great. Obviously he's a younger guy, so he knows how to connect with us really well and joke around, but when it's time to get serious, he's really serious, and he expects a lot from us.
Coach Campbell's a big relationship guy, and also the guys who we brought with him is big relationship guys. So it's been fun to meet new people and grow relationships with guys you never would have thought you would have interacted with. And I think it just benefits us to just build that brotherhood and meet new people.
Go! There you go!
Pushing each other this spring so that wins come in the fall.
There's a lot of competition in the room. Nobody knows what's set in stone, so just keep your head down, keep plugging away, and just stay together. Having a good cohesion in the room is important, and I think just communicating with each other and pretty much being each other's best friends. We're all so close with each other.
And the football program is not the only one with a new leader.
It is a homecoming for a former Lady Lion basketball player. Tanisha Wright takes over the women's program and is reintroduced to Penn State fans earlier this week.
I think what we're seeing around Penn State athletics, all the success in all the different programs. We had women's hockey, men's hockey, women's volleyball, what's happening with football, different things like that. Is really what drew me. And then the opportunity to stand here as the head coach of a program that I played for, that I bled for, that I've given so much to, and that has given so much to me, and to be able to impact young athletes in a positive way. I think that's something that really showed itself throughout the process and said that this was the right time to be here.
An impressive resume returning home. She was a defensive standout during her playing days with PSU. You heard Coach say she literally bled for the program, so she's going to demand toughness out of her players. We look forward to watching Coach Wright and her team on the court this upcoming season.
Serrano moves in, swung it back to Marsico, fires, scores! It's over!
The men's hockey team is back in the NCAA regionals, and they'd love to create some of this magic from last year's postseason run. Remember the overtime game winner from Matt DeMarsico off the phenomenal play from Charlie Serrato. The Nittany Lions beat UConn and Allentown to advance to the first Frozen Four in program history. No sneaking up on opponents this time around.
It's different for this program than we've had to deal with before. Since going to the Frozen Four, having an outdoor game of 75,000 people, recruiting some of the top players available, the Gavin effect, etc. There's been a lot of a lot of different distractions, or good and bad, that the team has had to deal with.
It's a brutal bracket in Albany, New York, with first-round opponent Minnesota Duluth and the top seed Michigan. The Frozen Four is in Las Vegas this year with the national championship game on Saturday, April 11th. Now, the women's hockey season comes to a close after a valiant effort in the Frozen Four. How their performance against the eventual champion can shape the future of the program. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
The opening drive is sponsored by R&R Express. Every shipment moved contributes to autism research and inclusion through the Excel Foundation. Learn more at wearerr.com.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
And we're back on Nittany Game Week. The women's hockey season is now complete. One thing is obvious. Penn State was closer than ever to winning a national championship. League champs again, first ever women's Frozen Four appearance, and in the semifinal, they take the defending and eventual champ Wisconsin to overtime before they fall 4-3.
Breakaway opportunity. It's Janicki in alone. Janicki scores! Tie game!
It's probably the most electric moment in Penn State women's hockey history. The Nittany Lions force overtime against the most successful program in the sport, Wisconsin. The captain, Tessa Janicki, is highly motivated against the Badgers, and they're very aware now that PSU is on the rise.
She's, grew up close to Wisconsin. The Badgers, I don't think, paid attention to her. And so I think, she was on a mission tonight. She willed us along. That was more important to her than her points. So I really respect that for her, and bringing others along with her.
As we've always told our players, when you're trying to end somebody's season, it's not easy. And I give them a lot of credit because they played very, very well in the third period. Probably could have scored 2 or 3 more goals, given Ava not making some great saves.
No sugarcoating the bitter taste of an overtime defeat. Those that are watching this national semifinal understand Penn State's arrival as one of the top-tier programs.
We can compete with the best. Doesn't matter what conference you're playing in. To go the whole season with only 5 losses is something that's not easy to do. And obviously that shows with those other top 5 teams. I don't care what the stat sheet says. I don't care who's on your team. If we're willing to outcompete you, then that's what we're going to do.
Huge task ahead to replace the production and leadership of this senior class. The Frozen Four provides one last magical moment for the group responsible for the ascent of the blue and white.
It was a perfect mix of excitement with intensity that we had this week, and I think it did show on the ice. And I mean, obviously the result isn't what we wanted, but everything that led up to this week was just so much fun, and doing with these girls and this team was just the best experience ever.
Over to men's lacrosse, a Big Ten conference opener to remember at Panther Stadium. The number 9 ranked Nittany Lions play host to the 11th ranked Maryland Terps, an opponent they have never beaten at home. A crowd fitting for the occasion, a program record 2,532 fans on home turf. We start in the first quarter. Luke Wallstrom has it up top, feeds midfielder Chase Robertson on the left wing, who rips a shot. Bouncer goes between the Terps' tendies' legs. PSU gets on the board first, all while preventing Maryland to even get off their first shot. Later in the first, we are back knotted up at 2. This time, Mark Waters brings up the right side, keeps it himself, drive towards the net, and quick shot finds the back of the cage to put the Nittany Lions back up 3-2. Penn State goes on a run, scoring the next 4 goals. And as the time runs down, holding a 10-6 lead, just resilient defense. With a couple lucky bounces off the bar, the blue and white keep the Terps off the board to finish it off. Penn State open up their conference play with a win and beat Maryland for the first time at home in program history. And let me tell you, the Big Ten Conference schedule doesn't get any easier. Some tough opponents coming up for the Nittany Lions. 3 out of 4 ranked matchups all on the road. Up next, a Saturday matchup with 7th-ranked Ohio State. Lacrosse powerhouse number 12 Johns Hopkins after that. Back at home for Michigan before a season finale against 16th-ranked Rutgers. Up next, our Impact interview, we speak to the panelists at the Leaders to Lions Symposium. What message they deliver to student athletes about building their brands off the field. Nittany Game Week returns after this.
Good morning. Door install. Let's show these guys how it's done. What's up around here? Oh, no. All part of the plan. Taking doors off, putting doors back on. What a world. So I just gotta come back tomorrow and finish the trim.
There's a reason West Shore Home is America's most trusted home remodeler.
That looks good.
West Shore Home, remodeling reimagined.
NASCAR returns to Pocono Raceway on June 14th, and tickets are going fast. Tickets are going fast. And tickets are going fast.
Visit PoconoRaceway.com to lock in your seats today. I can't wait to see you at the Tricky Triangle this summer.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. The college experience should make an impact on student athletes on and off the playing field. That's one of the main goals for Penn State's Brand Academy. As part of its annual startup week, they hosted their second ever Lions to Leaders Symposium with alumni panelists. Our impact interviews are with those panelists who gave the athletes their strategies on building teams, companies, and brands.
Well, first of all, I love Penn State. I'm a very proud Penn State alumni, and any chance I get to come back, I'm taking it. This community and this place has done so much for me. So to give back, to be here a couple hours, and it's only a 3-hour drive, like, I'm just thankful for it. I'm honored that they would have me back. And I love connecting with Penn State athletes, because that was me, like, a year ago. I was a Penn State athlete 3 years ago, but I was an athlete a year ago. So to get to connect with them and share some wisdom and just show up for them in the way that others used to show up for me, never going to turn that down.
For a lot of these events, you always have to know your audience. And for this particular audience, you're the student athletes at Penn State. What was the message that you wanted to make sure they walked away with today from you?
That's a great question. I think I wanted them to leave knowing that they have worth and value both in their sport and outside of their sport, both in NIL and just as a person. And so I tried to convey that with both advice and wisdom. Like, number one, you're worth more than the stat sheet. Number two, advocate for yourself and know that you're also worth NIL money, and, you know, advocate for yourself, sell yourself, like, believe that you can offer brands something.
So look, the 20s are for figuring things out. I mean, that's just how, that's right. That's just how a lot of it works. So for you today, what did you kind of take away from? What were some of the things that maybe perked up your ears to say, okay, that's something that I can apply in my journey?
I was definitely learning as well from both of them. And I think the biggest takeaway I have is that everything takes time. I'm 1 year post-grad and feel like I have to have everything figured out, and I don't. Things start small, things take time, and just to keep sticking it out for my dreams and just give it time and see where it goes.
Symposium, you're invited Lions to Leaders. Why was it important for you to come out and represent the company, but just as a Penn State grad, what was important about being a part of this event?
Yeah, so anytime I get the opportunity to come out, especially speak to young people, tell a little bit about my story, how we were able to, get our name on the field over here. Hopefully it can inspire somebody to think big and try to do something big.
The name on the field, what has that changed for you as far as relationships go, maybe within Penn State or even within a group like this, because they can connect it. If they weren't familiar with the company before, they certainly are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Our relationship with the university is not just athletically, it's also academically. I know currently we have, I think, 12 or 14 interns from their applied AI program. this summer we'll have 30, 40, 50 interns from all of our departments, supply chain and talent acquisition, HR, from Penn State. So the relationship's athletic, it's academic, and it's also philanthropic.
Well, you had an audience of student athletes, so how did you kind of carve your message to that particular audience today?
Yeah, so I wasn't personally a student athlete here. I learned a lot about myself in my years here, but the perspective I think I could bring is as an employer. When I'm looking at a resume, when I'm interviewing somebody for a role, if they were a student athlete, I'm automatically going to give them, a little bit of a leg up because I know they have discipline. I know they're going to be competitive. I know they can, integrate into a team. So some of our most highest performers in my business, in my organization, were former student athletes.
I come all the way from California to do this, and why was it important to you to be part of this symposium?
I mean, it's a great opportunity to pour back into student athletes and some of the things that mentors and coaches have poured into me. And, I blinked and now I'm 46 and I'm realizing like I have a lot of life experiences and within sports and out of sports. So I just want to be able to give an opportunity to give back.
I thought it was really interesting what you were talking about, entrepreneurship. What is that drive like to be an entrepreneur? And for people that think, hey, I want to run my own business, what are some of those things that they need to consider and keep in mind if that's a route that they want to go?
Being an entrepreneur, like I shared earlier, is spelled R-I-S-K, risk. And when I started out, it wasn't like, I want to be an entrepreneur. It was, I don't want to work for anybody. I was tired of people telling me what to do. I realized it was all on me. I started with a grassroots nonprofit and I started developing curriculum, and now community started depending on me. And then it morphed into, more opportunities with speaking. And then now I run a Chick-fil-A in Orange County, California, and I have almost 100 employees that count on me. But there's a lot of risk, like I said, in owning your own business, and being able to have good systems to help you stay on track has really been beneficial for me.
A lot of helpful information in the symposium. Make sure you go to nittany-game-week.com for all of our impact interviews, along with other web-exclusive content like our Nittany Connect network of businesses. Don't go anywhere. Still to come, a dollar dog victory for the baseball team when you can show up and scarf down some dogs at the ballpark. We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
It's the Pocono Mountains. We're in the fun business. With our world-class water park resorts, when it's cooling down outside, it's still summer inside. Our cutting-edge attractions are just so much fun, both indoors and out. You decide. Then completely unwind from that fun-packed day. 3 great water parks, all in one awesome place. The Pocono Mountains. It's in Pennsylvania, the great American getaway.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
The vibes are high on the very first Dollar Dog Night of the season for Penn State baseball. And what better way to top off Dollar Dogs than with a victory in comeback fashion with a clutch 2-run homer in the 7th. Penn State beat the St. Bonaventure Bonnies 8-6. They win the first of 5 Dollar Dog Nights that has become a crowd favorite. The next one on April Fool's Day against UCF next week. And time to close out the show with our Nittany Game Week Dean's List. A few standout athletes to shout out. First, the second-team All-American nod for Sam Contonton on the fencing team after making an appearance at the National Championship. Then, men's lacrosse getting some recognition in the Big Ten Conference Weekly Awards. Senior John King named Co-Defensive Player of the Week after playing a big part in holding Maryland to just 6 goals. And in net, Preston Hawkins earns Big Ten Freshman of the Week with 14 saves against Maryland and a career-best 700 save percentage. Congrats to this week's Dean's List honorees.
We are bringing Penn State fans and alumni together with our Nittany Connect network at nittany-game-week.com. We partner with businesses that support the program, and let our viewers know about their great products and professional services. It's also the place for all of our web exclusive content, airtimes for all of our network of stations, previous episodes, and impact interviews can be found at one convenient location, nittany-game-week.com.
Don't forget about your Pride picks. You can submit your tailgating and fan picks from the game on the website as well.
Yep, got to make sure you show us your spirit. For Ryan, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.